Start the Showhausen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the hour where there's nothing left to prove. Experimental lack of concern. It's a perfect world being burned. This is the maniacal hour. Pure 100% underground. Powered by the emotion of self-passion. This is how we get down. It's the rain all about it. Evidence coming to take control. Rain all about it. Evidence coming to take control. Lock and load, steal souls and watch it explode. Dispatch the death squad and watch it go. Serial killers, cadavers, murderous psychos. As the hour goes, it takes the time. Expires as we live dead, revitalized. Surprised by the high with red still in our eyes. The pleasure is all ours to give you the power. This is the maniacal hour.
It is Sunday, January 30th, 2022. The Royal Rumble is behind us. We are on the road to WrestleMania, and you are listening to The Blow Off, presented by the Heyman Media Group, channelattitude.com. I am your host, Dr. Jargo, PhD, and I am joined alongside, that's right, we found him, ladies and gentlemen. He's back from his excursion with Danhausen. He's the man from the PWC. He's the COVID kid, the boy from down under. He's my man, Jimmy T. Hausen. Welcome back to your show, my friend. How are you?
I'm great, Hausen, I think. I mean, dude, I did go on location to find out more about Danhausen. And
Yes.
Boy, did I go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Seriously.
it looks like you went down a rabbit hole, went down a couple of rabbit holes. We're going to talk about Danhausen and the Ass Boys in here in just a minute. Of course, we had the Royal Rumble last night. It's been a crazy week inside of pro wrestling, Jimmy T. I'm sitting here and I'm going, I'm trying to do the last second prep for the show. And I'm like, okay, what do I want to lead with? Do I want to lead with Danhausen? What the hell else happened on Dynamite? Because on Thursday, I did 4 podcasts. And then on Friday, I did Rampage Uncaged while you were on location. And then on Saturday, I did the Rad Rob throwback show. I did the preview show and the post show for the Royal Rumble. And now I'm sitting here for the blow off. And I was like, crap, what the hell even happened on AEW Dynamite this week? I better go look that up. Oh, yeah, Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. That happened on Wednesday night. It's just, there's been so much content this week. My head's spinning trying to remember what have I talked about with who, about what, and when.
I feel you, man. I totally understand where you're coming from. And yeah, man, it's been a wacky, crazy sort of week in wrestling. And back to Dynamite, though, I felt that show was, I don't know, man, a little disappointing. Maybe, or should I say shithausen? It was kind of shithausen. Yeah.
And it continues to be more disappointing because Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, of course, they start off Dynamite. They bury everything that you're going to see on the rest of the show. There's no selling. It's a ladder match for the undisputed TNT championship, which never should have been a thing to begin with. And the match goes 23 minutes, Jim. 23 minutes, like almost a quarter of the show devoted to this god-awful ladder match. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was some really cool spots. Like I thought they did some really cool stuff in the match, but as a match, I didn't like it at all. And then freaking Meltzer went and gave it 5 stars. Am I just that out of touch at this point that like I was watching that and I thought it was like a 3 3/4 star match. I thought it was a fine TV ladder match where they were just trying to get in as much shit as they possibly could. And they just didn't sell anything. I mean, even the RKO off of the ladder, they sold for about 15 seconds and that was it. And then they moved on to the next spot. Am I crazy? I hated this ladder match.
No, you're not crazy, Jargo. First of all, let me just start off with saying, what was the point of Cody actually winning the TNT championship in the first place?
I don't know, Hausen.
Can you explain that to me? Because
I had thought we were going with the ultimate tweener, right? Like Cody's going to keep a hold of the title so that both faces and heels can challenge him. He can do the ultimate tweener thing. And that's where we go forward with Cody. I don't know what we're doing now. I don't know where Cody goes from here because I feel like Cody is so delusional and so lost inside of the booking. His character doesn't even know what he's supposed to be doing at this point. I thought at least being TNT champion gave Cody some kind of direction, and now I don't even feel like he has that.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with you. Like I said, where does this leave Cody Rhodes anyway now? Like I said, I still don't understand the book. This is exactly what bipolar booking is, Jago.
Yeah.
Right here, man. They put Cody over when? Well, how long ago was it? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that. Well, it was at Winter is Coming, right?
Right. I'm pretty sure it was.
So like a month ago.
Oh no, I think it was on Rampage that it happened actually, dude.
Oh, well, again,
Rampage.
too much content, too much stuff happening all the time.
Well, anyway, the point is he wins the TNT Championship. Then he goes out with COVID. Then we get fucking Guevara and Dustin at battle for the belt.
Right.
For the interim TNT Championship. Guevara wins just for them to set up again Cody versus Sammy with no real build-up. Let's be honest. There wasn't really any build other than the fact they're both TNT champions, right? And then now we got Sammy Guevara that's gone over again, who's now the undisputed TNT champion. Not just that, later on in the show, he no-sells that match altogether.
Yeah.
By coming out with Fuego with his stupid cue cards.
Not limping at all after Cody beat
the
snot out of his knee for about, a half hour.
Crazy. See what I mean? And that's what sort of does my head in about AEW and just their booking. Like they don't think sometimes where, hang on a minute, he just went through hell with Cody. Meltzer gave it 5 stars. But let's be fair, like
How
you said,
it's
about
5
3.5
stars.
No chance. No selling at all. Even the ladder was no selling after that Jeff Hardy spot that Guevara did.
Where the ladder didn't break.
Right, that's what I mean. The ladder was no selling too. This match was just a no-sell match. And yeah, Guevara goes over. Cody, I guess maybe his contract situation with AEW is a lot more serious, possibly, Jago, than we actually thought.
And I seriously wonder if in Cody's mind, he was like, no, I have to lose this match so people think I'm going to be in the Rumble on Saturday. I seriously wonder, because Cody's pretty deep. He's pretty cerebral. You got to look really deep into some of Cody's stuff. Like I was talking with, gosh, who the hell was that? Was that Chris the other night on Rampage? Cody is such a tweener that he doesn't come out of the heel entrance or the babyface entrance. He comes out right in between them. Like that's why Cody does the entrance that he does, right? I mean, I seriously wonder if Cody thought, well, if I lose this match, people will think I'll be in the Rumble on Saturday.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to lie. You heard me say it. I even had a glimmer of hope that maybe, even though deep down I knew it wasn't going to happen, but they made me think maybe there's a slight chance that he does appear at the Rumble, but obviously he didn't. And even, heck, I even thought maybe Mox would show up in the middle of this Seth Rollins-Roman thing, but I knew deep down that wasn't going to happen either. But nevertheless, I still think WWE is the real forbidden door, Jago.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even the Mickie James thing that people were so happy about. People were so thrilled that Mickie James and the Impact Women's Champion is going to be in
not
this
the
match.
Knockouts champion. They couldn't even get that right.
Well, but here's the thing. They weren't bringing in the Impact Knockouts champion. They were bringing in Mickie James.
Right.
Mickie James just happened to be the Impact Knockouts champion. I mean, did they tell you where you could watch Impact Wrestling? Did they tell you what time Impact Wrestling was on? And the same thing with Melina. They didn't even mention that
NWA.
she's in NWA. Like, they want you to believe that Melina hasn't been in a wrestling ring in 15 years. And holy crap, look, she can still do the splits.
Yeah. I mean, she has put on a few extra pounds around her backside area, but hey.
It's been a long time, right? But they didn't
time.
pay any lip service to any of the NWA stuff. They didn't put over the NWA. They didn't tell you where you could watch Power or where you could watch Impact Wrestling. I mean, it was just, they brought in Mickie James. It's just Mickie James happens to be a champion at this little puny promotion called Impact Wrestling. We're not even going to when they mentioned it on Twitter, when they said, Mickie James, the Impact Women Wrestling Champion, they didn't even tag Impact Wrestling. So even from the WWE feed, if you didn't know what Impact Wrestling was, they weren't going to tell you. Like, this was about Mickie James. It had nothing to do with Impact and nothing to do with the Forbidden Door.
I agree, but I've got a theory, possibly, Jago. And it makes sense, but at the same time, it doesn't, because the people that do own Impact actually are billionaires in Anthem.
It's a
But
good thing because Impact ain't making any money.
right, but I've got a feeling, could we possibly be having Vince doing what he did for Paul Heyman in ECW back in the day, and he's actually keeping and helping keep Impact Wrestling afloat? Is that a possible chance?
I mean, I've been asking literally for years at this point, how is Impact Wrestling making any kind of money?
Right.
Because I mean, the company that owns Impact also owns the network. There's
Right.
no advertising. I
True.
mean, they're not selling tickets. Like, I have no idea how Impact Wrestling is making money. So, I mean, Vince subsidizing Impact. At this point, I would be like, oh,
It's possible,
that's
man.
how they were making money.
I'm telling you, dude, I'm starting to see it, man, because, if you notice, Impact and WWE now have been in cahoots for a few years, man. I think they've been on very good terms. I mean, think about it. They sent Christian, remember that, to get Ric Flair onto, WWE. So they sent Christian back to TNA for a little bit. And then we also had Rob Van Dam when he came back to the Rumble a few years ago.
Where was he at?
Yeah, I'm surprised because they've been advertising him a lot on the Cock, like with his Icons series and also the Ruthless Aggression.
Yeah, RVD
series.
loves being on the Cock.
Yeah, he certainly does. I mean, I'm sure his mistresses and his wife love the Cock too.
Sister wives of RVD.
Yeah. Hey, man, you got to give the guy credit. I mean,
I'll give the dude props, man. He's living his best life right now. I ain't complaining. He smokes weed all day, and then he's got his wife, his girlfriend, and his bitch. Like, so, I mean.
Literally his bitch.
Yeah, props to RVD. I mean, I ain't hating.
The whole fucking show, man. Props to RVD, no doubt. But the point is, WWE and Impact have been in cahoots for quite a while now. They show their footage every time they do specials with AJ Styles or whoever was in TNA Impact Wrestling. So don't be surprised if Vinnie Mac is the guy that's kind of keeping them afloat, because they truly are the cockroaches of professional wrestling. Think about it, Jago. It's 20 years this year that Impact Wrestling have been around. 20 fucking years, dude.
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
Impact Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Noah need to get into business with each other, because neither one will ever go out of business. It's ridiculous.
Man, I'm telling you, it's like if we had a friggin' nuke go off on Earth and everything dies except for Danhausen.
Everything dies except for Danhausen.
Except for Danhausen and also the cockroaches, dude. And that's TNA.
Yeah.
Or Impact Wrestling.
Let's talk a little bit about Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy, the lag tape out match that headlined AEW Dynamite. I don't have quite the problem with this that I did as I watched it live, because now Adam Cole has a way to get heat. Adam Cole can still come out and claim that he is undefeated inside of AEW, even though we clearly saw him get pinned by Orange Cassidy, because you know why, Jimmy?
Why is that?
It was a lights out match. It doesn't count.
Okay, right. I can see that, right?
That's what they're going to do.
You're probably right? But are they smart enough to think that? I hope they are, Jago, because, there's plenty of times where we can book this shit on the fly, and it seems like, that's where they're going once we figure shit out, but they totally didn't go that way, right? And the thing is, does AEW think that deep? People think they do. I just think it's a mirage, man. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like you got to do something to get Adam Cole some heat. Adam Cole's still claiming that he's undefeated in AEW. I think that absolutely helps after everybody saw him get pinned. But it was a lights out match. Doesn't count.
Absolutely. But the problem I've also got, why was there a referee? You know what I'm saying? If this is a lights out match, I know they're going to say, just for the pin. I don't give a shit.
I didn't realize that meant false count anywhere, by the way.
Neither did I. I didn't know it was.
I thought that was weird.
It should be like an I Quit match, no ref, or just, you know what I mean? Like, think of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, SummerSlam 2002. Remember that? It wasn't really a match, but it was a match, right? They should have done something like that, man. I think it would have come across much better.
But instead, they couldn't resist Hausen. And instead, we got the debut of our Lord and Savior. Very good, very evil, Danhausen.
Very good, very evil. Fucking hell.
I'm torn on this one, Jimmy, because I like Danhausen as a talent. All right.
Right.
But I like Danhausen as a talent on indie shows. I'm not sure how the Danhausen character is going to translate to 52 weeks of TV a year. And we have to like do something with Danhausen because people love him and he's over.
I don't know why, man.
So what do we do with Danhausen?
Honestly, I was telling you off the air that he reminds me, for whatever reason, of Darby Allin, right? You can easily pair them up, but unfortunately, it will probably make Darby Allin look weak if they were to do that. But
I could kind of see it going a couple different ways. I mean, I could see where Danhausen is gone from All Elite Wrestling in 6 months because they don't know what to do with him, right? And so they kind of just cut their losses, and Danhausen goes back to the independents where I feel like Danhausen belongs. Again, not a rip on the character, not a rip on the talent. Just I don't feel like it works on national TV. Or we can find a way to make this work. The way to make this work is not to put Danhausen in the ring every week. It's not to have him having matches. It's certainly not opposite of Adam Cole. We need to get Adam Cole as far away from all this comedy crap as possible. His first feud is with Jungle Boy, right? And then he moves on to Orange Cassidy. There was a program in between. There was another one. But he's had 3 comedy programs inside of AEW.
No, it was Jurassic Express while he was teaming, I think, with the Bucks. You know, the Super Clique. I mean, I can't remember who else he was feuding with, though, if you call it feud.
We need to give him something serious that he can sink his teeth into, or this is never going to work with Adam Cole. I realize he's only 32 years old, but Jesus Christ. Yeah. Like, can we do something a little bit more serious with Adam Cole at this point? But instead, Danhausen comes out and he did the thing. And now we have people on the internet freaking out that Adam Cole has been cursed and he's going to go on a losing streak until he can defeat Danhausen.
No. Please, let's not go there. Let's not panic, Jargo. If they go there...
I'm scared, dude.
I'm scared. I'm scared too, bro. I'm not going to lie, because why? Why would they do... I mean, it'd be funny if he goes on that losing streak on Dark and Elevation only, right? Where no one actually sees it. Right. But you see that his win-loss record sort of changing. They could do that just to, for a joke. But please, let's not go there with Adam Cole. Let's not kill his heat completely, people. Let's not do that. As far as Danhausen goes, you're right. He might last 6 months because they don't know what the fuck to do with him, right? But I feel like he was a panic buy, man. You know what I mean? They just, we've got to get him his, he's hot right now. Yeah, and sure, he has been hot, right? But for me, being a professional wrestling fan for over 34, 35 years, that's not my thing, man. And this is the problem I have with today's professional wrestling. I feel like these guys are really destroying the business. And I don't want to say it's their fault. It's society today, man. I mean, look at Effie. He's another one who's so over, dude. Like, and there's nothing. I'm happy for him, right? It's not that, but think about it. Is this the future? Danhausen, Effie. If this is the future, then I'm afraid professional wrestling is not going to last too much longer, man. I'm sorry.
So a couple of weeks ago, we had the Acclaimed come out with their music video,
right?
2 grown men, and they're going through a goth phase as they were talking about Sting as well as Darby Allin. I think this is the right way to use Danhausen. But Jimmy T, I don't know if you've seen the final product yet. I mean, of course, we all know that, like, you got that little spot there under your eye, and we all know that is from what you were doing with Danhausen over the course of the weekend. That's why you couldn't join us over on Rampage on Cage. You were off shooting the music video. I do like this, though. I think this is a good usage of Danhausen, rather than putting him in the ring, rather than having him feud with Adam Cole, rather than, Danhausen blowing his gimmick. Just give me like 3 minutes of Danhausen doing music videos over the course of the week. I think I can get down with that. And I think I do like the feud of Danhausen versus the Ass Boys. For anybody who doesn't listen to Rampage Uncaged and doesn't know what we're talking about, right here on the Blow Off, I have permission from Jimmy T. We're going to debut his new music video and why he missed Rampage Uncaged. This is Jimmy T and Danhausen featuring the Ass Boys.
Hello, yes, Danhausen here, with a wonderful gift to Billy Ass and the Ass Boys. Danhausen, great friend, great strong friend, Billy Ass. And a gift for his wonderful Ass Boys, a new entrance theme song. So that way they can embrace the ass and enter to the proper musics. Danhausen has hired musical professionals to do such a thing. Danhausen wrote the lyrics himself, so enjoy.
We're the Ass Boys. We're the Ass Boys. Billy Ass and the Ass Boys. We're the Ass Boys. Billy Ass and the Ass Boys. It's our last name. We were born with them. We did not choose them. We won't shove them. We will not pick them. Thank you, Danhausen. Who were we fooling? No double dealing. We are not swearing. So many asses. One family tree. We can prove it. We're the 23 and me. We're the Ass Boys. Billy Ass and the Ass Boys. We're the Ass Boys. Billy Ass and the Ass Boys.
Yeah, we're the Ass Boys, baby. That's
Good
my
job,
hit, bro.
Jimmy. I mean,
Thank you.
I mean, I'm just insulted that you didn't tell us that you were going to go shoot a music video with Danhausen.
Dude, it was a surprise. I'm sorry I didn't tell you, man, but I had to keep it down on the low, man, because I wanted to surprise you guys. And that, my friend, I know, formerly Billy Gunn's theme in WWE, I'm an ass man. I took inspiration from that and made Danhausen the star of
It's
my
a bitchin'
my
remix,
song,
bro.
bro.
It's a bitch at DJ Mass
Bro.
Effects. I mean, that's what Jimmy does.
me up.
He remixes it
Yep.
inside down and upside out. Jimmy T. I'm so impressed, bro. Like,
you,
congratulations. This is a big break for you.
It certainly is a big break for me, but I got to say that Danhausen is a prick, man. You know what I mean?
I think I figured it out. And well, it's not even me. I can't even take credit for it. Carly figured it out. Because Carly had never seen Danhausen before. All right. So I showed Carly, the debut against Adam Cole, and then I show her the music video that you and Danhausen did, and immediately she got it. And she's exactly right. Danhausen is playing Andy Kaufman, playing a professional wrestler who's a demon. But I mean, if you really look at this Danhausen character, the body language, the facial expressions, the voice, the cadence, he's Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, he is. He even talks kind of like Andy Kaufman.
Very much so.
Exactly the same, pretty much, actually. I mean, that's how Andy Kaufman used to talk, like that.
Yep.
He was like, yes, and I'm just, you know what I mean? Like,
it's just been so long that there's 2 or 3 generations of pro wrestling fans here who don't remember Andy Kaufman and the feud with Jerry the King Lawler, which is unfortunate because it might be the greatest thing in the history of pro wrestling.
Well, it just shows our age, Jago. I mean, shit. We've been into this for a very long time, and that is a great fucking comparison, dude. I got to give you kudos for that. That is spot on. Because as soon as you said Kaufman, straight away, man, I just thought about it. I'm like, damn, he talks exactly like him.
Yeah,
exactly like Andy Kaufman. Right, exactly. Spot
Except
on, dude.
As a demon.
As a demon, right? But still, he's
if
not
Sting
Andy Kaufman,
and Andy Kaufman had a baby.
Oh, God, don't. Or is it Darby and Sting having a baby? You get Danhausen.
Yeah, but we gotta get Andy Kaufmanhausen in there somehow.
Oh, true. Maybe
Kaufmanhausen and Stinghausen equals Danhausen.
Oh no. Oh God, man. Hey, he really is, and I'm surprised no one's pointed that out. Even on his interview that I was watching with Chris Van Fleet, he didn't actually point that out. You know what I mean? So
it's very clearly Andy Kaufman.
100% agree with you, man. That's spot on, man. That's
Shout
a great
outs to Carly. She's got that eye,
Absolutely.
That's
Shout
why
out.
she picked me.
You lucky duck.
She's beautiful and smart. Let's
Absolutely. Shout outs to Carly.
let's shift. Let's talk about the Royal Rumble a little bit. The
Oh,
other big
let's.
event that was going on this week. I've done a pre-show. I've done a post-show. I've talked about this show at nauseum. And
Yeah.
in all, I feel like WWE feels like this was a good show. I feel like fans that watched it, enjoyed it, would have enjoyed it a whole lot more if it was at least an hour shorter, because oh my
Oh.
God, the show just kept going and
Yeah.
going and going. And then we got to Edge and Miz and the women and the mixed tag. And I was like, oh my God, I have to get through this before I can get to the final Rumble match.
Oh,
Thought I was
shit.
gonna fall asleep, bro. It was exhausting. The Rumble is always exhausting. What did you think of the Rumble kind of on the grand scheme of things? And then we can break this thing down and I'll tell you why it was not a good show.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. I liked it probably a lot more than you did, clearly, right? But I was going into the show because, look, the Rumble's one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year. Oh, sorry,
Mhm.
premium event of the year. I'm sorry. Like, that's my bad. Sorry, WWE. Anywho, it is one of my most looked forward to pay-per-views of the year. But I haven't watched Raw or SmackDown properly in a couple of weeks. Like, I know what's going on, but just haven't watched it. So going into the show, my expectations are a little high because their pay-per-views are generally better than their weekly shows. So, man, I thought it was all right, except it was lazy booking, though.
It was lazy booking. My problem with WWE shows is I always look at what the most logical and easy thing they can do is, and then I expect them to do something else because that was too easy and it's too logical. And
Right.
and last night I felt like they went the easy, logical way. And sometimes that is the best storytelling.
Right.
My problem is, as I look at things coming out of this show, I think they may have created a few more problems for themselves than they
Sure have.
did solutions, right? And it all starts off with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins for the championship of the universe. Now, they did a couple things during this match. All right. Number one, Seth coming out in the Shield gear to the original
Brilliant.
Shield theme was freaking
Brilliant.
great. Loved
Absolutely. Absolutely.
it. Loved it. So the match itself goes about 15 minutes with Roman Reigns getting disqualified. With Roman Reigns getting disqualified, he retains the championship of the universe, but you have effectively Roman Reigns is now firmly once again on the heel side of the roster, which
Oh,
I'm not
big
sure
time.
was the right thing to do. Okay, because I did feel like people were getting really close to wanting to cheer Roman Reigns.
Oh, man. When
That's
he walked
gone.
out, that's gone. When he walked out to the ring, he had a babyface pop, dude.
Yep.
Heck, he even came out like a babyface wearing his Samoan thing,
Mhm.
what's it called again, with the flowers.
His
He
leg.
was wearing that. Right, that's it. And man, like that's what a babyface does. Everything about that entrance was total white meat babyface. And the fans were absolutely gave him a pop.
Yep.
Right. I feel like we've got WrestleMania 13 all over again with this match, dude. It is pretty much Bret Hart and Stone Cold all over again with the double turn, from heel to babyface, both of them switching sides because now Seth is totally over. And I feel like, though, with Roman, I feel he's got go away heat again now, dude.
Yeah.
And that's not good, man. I feel like that backfired
you.
a little bit, dude. I don't think that was their intention to get that sort of heat. And it really did feel like go away heat, man.
Yeah, I feel like this sets Roman Reigns back at least a year. Like,
Absolutely.
if the plan, because to me, I always kind of thought that the plan was if we're going to do Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, that's the double turn, right? Like, because you want Roman cheered coming out of that program.
Absolutely.
I think they blew that last night. I think Seth Rollins is now the most over babyface in
What
the
the
company after what happened last night, which is insane to me because it wasn't that long ago he was gouging out Rey Mysterio's eyeball.
Dude.
But I mean, like, Seth was super over as a babyface, especially the way this thing went down last night with his hands
Absolutely.
still on the
Yeah,
rope when Roman chokes him out.
How good was that?
I mean, it was great, but I'm not sure that was the result that they were wanting coming out of this program, that Seth Rollins was over as your lead babyface right now.
No way.
I
No
don't think
chance.
that was the idea, right?
Dude, no way, man. I was cringing at the type of heat. You know the difference between normal heat and like go away heat, man. I don't know. I'm sure, you and I can tell. I'm sure others can too. But if you can't, it's pretty clear, man, because that was such hate towards Roman at that finish, man. And it put Seth Rollins. See, I hope their intentions was for the double turn, right? Because if it wasn't, it makes it even more silly, right? Because that's essentially what's happened unexpectedly, possibly, right? So, I mean, shit, Seth is going to be over like Rover tomorrow night on Raw, man. Or sorry, the night after. And Roman is going to get booed out of the building. At least he did heal it up between then and the rest of the night, because what else can you do, right? Except that was lazy booking. I know all along they wanted to get to Brock. We both said it. You said it. Everyone knows it. They were trying all along to get to Brock and Roman at WrestleMania. We all knew that, right? But the way they went about it was just so dumb to me.
Well, let's fast forward. Let's jump through the show and let's talk about Lashley and Lesnar.
Oh.
Because I feel like, of course, the stories all kind of go together, right?
Absolutely.
So Lashley and Lesnar was actually a much better match than what I was anticipating. They let them go a lot longer than I was anticipating. Let me pull up the time here, because I'm not exactly sure how long that was.
It felt like 15 minutes tops.
Yeah, that's kind of how it felt to me too. Lashley, 10 minutes.
Oh, shit. That was even quicker than I thought.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Well, I mean, when you got two hosses like that just beating the shit out of one another, and time seems to go by, right?
Absolutely.
So the match goes 10 minutes. Roman Reigns comes out. Number one, as soon as we saw the first ref bump, I was like, oh shit, here we go. Then we get the second ref bump. And then Brock pins Bobby Lashley for an audible 20 count from 40,000 people.
Yep.
And then they do the Roman Reigns thing. So to me, the biggest issue here is what they did to Bobby Lashley.
Oh, absolutely.
Lashley wins the WWE Championship. He should be pissed.
And I'm telling you,
raving pissed. And instead, he's walking out like he just won the gold medal. And like, I just beat Brock Lesnar. Holy shit, look at me. How awesome am I? You just turned Bobby Lashley into a chicken shit heel.
Bobby Lashley into a chicken shit heel. To be fair to Lashley, he did react at first, like what the fuck sort of thing, and then he just quickly fucking no-sold it completely, right?
He should be pissed. He shouldn't even accept that title.
Right. Well, yeah, but he's a heel, right? So,
well, he clearly is now.
Well, yeah.
Because I feel like Lashley was another guy that like people were really getting behind Bobby Lashley.
Absolutely. Fuck
like,
yeah.
People wanted to see Bobby Lashley beat Brock Lesnar,
but not tonight.
Not like this.
No, but even the fans
wanted to see Bobby actually beat Brock Lesnar.
Well, I felt like tonight the fans were more behind Brock actually in this match, which was odd in my opinion.
I was happy. Surprise to me.
Right, I'm happy that Lashley won, but just not the way it happened. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just dumb. It kills Lashley, right? It doesn't do anything to Lesnar anyway. Who cares, right? Because he ends up going into the Rumble anyway, and we know what happens there. And Roman Reigns looks like see, where does this leave Seth Rollins now? You know, because it was
Rollins
up to me.
Is the odd man out completely.
Right. So what's going on? Do you think he's going to go for Lashley? But that's just dumb.
Lashley and Rollins does not even sound appealing to me.
Right. Neither. Same with me. So there's only one thing. What about, say, and this is not going to happen, but I'm going to put it out there. How about they go the New Japan route, man, with WrestleMania? Night one, you have a main event, maybe a four-way. I'm not saying they're going to do this, but I could see it maybe happening. You've got a four-way match between Rollins, Reigns, what's it called? Lesnar and Lashley for the belts, right? for the SmackDown or the Universal Championship and the WWE Championship. Or we have some sort of thing where the final two participants end up meeting in a one-on-one match on night 2, possibly, right? And then you have the females main event maybe one night, because we know we're going to get Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey, right? That's a given.
I'm not sure about that.
Really?
I'm not sure about that, but we'll get to that in a minute. I feel like the other thing they did is they kind of cut Brock's balls off here.
So they cut everyone's balls off here, dude.
I mean, Bobby absolutely is hurt by this. All right.
Absolutely.
Seth Rollins, as the odd man out, is absolutely hurt by this. Brock Lesnar, of course, you put all the sympathy on Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar now firmly the babyface, going after Roman Reigns, the heel champion, over on SmackDown. Nobody cares. Because of what they did at the beginning of the night. I want to see Seth Rollins dethrone Roman Reigns. After what they did last night, that's the match that I feel like people are going to be clamoring to see, not Brock Lesnar. So you hurt Brock, you hurt Rollins, you hurt Lashley, and Roman. You have Roman Reigns is so pissed off at the end of this match that he could not beat Seth Rollins.
Right.
That he chokes him out to the point he gets disqualified. Then he annihilates him with not one, but 2 chairs. And then he comes out during this Lesnar match, and it's cool, calm, collected Mafia boss Roman. Like the whole Rollins match never happened.
That's what does my head in, dude. Like,
so who got over here?
All right, look, let's be honest here, right? I think the one that really it hurt the least was Seth, all right? Rollins he's totally over for the fact that he held onto the rope still while being out of it.
I mean, Seth is in a good spot if the plan was to make him the biggest babyface in the company.
Right, and I don't see
which I don't think was the plan.
Right.
So how does that leave Seth in a good spot? Like, is he going to have to come out tomorrow night on Raw and heel on somebody?
It's a good question. I don't know. I mean, why? That's what I don't understand. Because the thing about WWE, this is what they thought, clearly. They didn't give a shit about anyone else. This was all about getting to Ronda Rousey on WrestleMania and Brock and Roman to WrestleMania. Man, that's all that they were thinking. They didn't give a shit what happens with everyone else. It was just about how they're going to get to them at WrestleMania. And unfortunately, everyone else suffers because of it.
And that is the problem. Like, I can watch last night's show inside of a vacuum and I can enjoy it because I mean, as far as the WWE pay-per-view goes, it's not a PLE, it's a PPV. Go screw yourself, Vince. As far as a WWE pay-per-view goes, I thought this was a good show. I could sit down, I can enjoy this show inside of a bubble, right? But as I think about, okay, so now what happens coming out of this show as we head towards the biggest show of the year in 2 months, because WrestleMania is in March this year. It's not in April.
Right.
This was not good. Like when you look at the creative programs going forward and what this sets up or doesn't set up, I don't feel like this was a beneficial show to what they're trying to do inside of the narrative.
Well, they've booked themselves into a corner again, and they pretty much said, we'll worry about it after tonight. You know what I mean? We'll just get to them being, and that's the problem. You put out a great scenario on the blow off a couple of weeks back, man, with how Roman should, you know, how we're going to get Roman and Brock in the WrestleMania main. We knew we were going to get to that, right? That was always the plan. Everyone knew that, right?
Right.
What you laid out is exactly how it should have gone, because that way it makes totally way more sense. It's not so like messy. Like it's a mess, dude. It's like they can't even make a salad right. It's literally chicken shit. But they're not turning it into chicken salad. That's the problem. And other than a 4-way fucking dance, how else are you going to fix this? Like, really?
I think we have to go back in time. I think we have to go back in time to the first time that we had Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar.
Back in 2015?
Santa Clara, California. Seth Rollins cashes in the Money in the Bank. It becomes a triple threat match.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. We got to go there again.
I
I don't think you can do Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I think it has to be the 3-way. I think you have to include Seth. You have to have Roman on the heel side. You have to have Brock on the babyface side. And you have to have Seth playing this weird tweener character.
Helping out Roman too.
I'm not sure that that's necessarily right either.
Man, you're right. If it doesn't go that way, and nobody's thinking like that, everyone thinks we're just getting Brock and Roman Reigns.
I think they really fucked up with what they did with Roman and Seth after that match. It went too far. Like I can't buy Roman Reigns as anything other than a full bore heel at this point.
Went too far, yeah.
And all the sympathy is on Seth Rollins. I mean,
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what's funny, man. That's why I laugh at this company, dude. How do you fuck this up? Remember, like I was saying earlier in the show, he came out to an arousing ovation, dude.
Yep.
Seriously, he really did. I was like, wow, he's getting a pop. You know what I mean? A huge one. Probably the biggest I've heard. Really.
And they were behind Seth Rollins in St. Louis last night. Like, they wanted Rollins to beat Roman Reigns. I mean, clearly.
Once we heard the Sierra Hotel and the Shield,
it was over.
That was it. I was like, what the fuck? And then the fact that he actually wore the Shield gear topped it off, because I thought, no, he's still going to come out, you know, like the Joker or whatever he's doing, like a devil's advocate sort of character in many ways. Mm-hmm. He also reminds me of the Riddler too. He's got all sorts of shit
a little bit, yep,
going on with this character, which I didn't dig at first, but I'm actually starting to dig it, dude. I really am, because he's starting to really pull it off really good. Like, he believes in it. You know what I mean? And
the problem is, how does that character evolve into a babyface?
That's not a babyface character though, dude. It's just not.
But he is clearly, that's Seth Rollins is once again your lead babyface coming out of last night. I mean, I feel that way. Like the fans are with Seth Rollins right now.
And you know, the saying goes, monkey see, monkey do. It becomes a friggin' like an infection. From just all that fan base cheering Seth, it's gonna go to on Raw. Everyone's gonna cheer Seth. Burn it down, burn it down. You're gonna hear that shit probably before the show even starts, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, does he go back to his old theme?
They booked themselves into a corner, and then so as much as I wanted to see angry and aggressive Roman Reigns, we go back to Cool Call Mafia boss Paul. Hand me the title. You know, and it's just like, okay. And so he screws Brock Lesnar. I mean, that's straight, like, that's what he screwed Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar enters the men's Royal Rumble match at number 30 is a happy smiling baby face who's coming out here to take everybody to soup. Like, there was no aggression from Brock. Brock didn't seem pissed off.
He was happy as Larry, bro.
He was not coming out to murder everybody so that he could get his hands on Roman Reigns, and this is the only way I can do it. And who was supposed to be number 30? Because clearly Brock Lesnar wasn't supposed to be number 30, because Brock Lesnar wasn't planning on losing the WWE Championship. Like, these are the little details WWE doesn't give you. You know what they should have done? They should have sent Veer. You have Veer come walking out like he's going to... No, I mean, you have Veer come walking out, and it's like, oh, finally, Veer's going to appear, and then Brock Lesnar comes out and F5s him and takes his spot. Like,
Jesus Christ.
They did nothing. Brock comes out, and he's all happy and smiling, and everybody's like, oh, shit, it's Brock Lesnar. And then Brock gets in, murders everybody, and he's happy and smiling and points at the sign.
You know what's
Brock
sad?
Lesnar.
How many? Yeah, well, that's it. It's Brock Lesnar, Suplex City, bitch. Straight up. That's what he's doing. I mean, look at Orton, how hot he is right now, dude, for example, right? He's pretty over right now, man. The fans, for whatever reason, are right behind him now. I'm starting to like him more the older he gets. I think he's so slick, dude. He doesn't even have to, he's never put 100% into this business. Never. Because if he did, he'd be one of the best of all time, dude, straight up, right? He just does it because, I'm good at it. You know what I mean? And he can get away with doing the absolute minimal, right? But they totally buried him now. Totally buried friggin' what's his name too?
I feel like
his partner.
There's a lot of comparisons between Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton.
Well, they did both come up the same time.
And I say that in the respect that you're right, exactly right. They came up through OVW together. Even John Cena, very much the same way.
Batista.
And what they want is I show up to Raw at 3:00 in the afternoon, and you hand me a script, and this is what I'm gonna do, and then I go out and I do it. I feel like Brock Lesnar was produced all wrong last night. Rather than when Brock comes out, like, okay, Brock, remember. You're a baby face. Go out there and pander to the people. No, this is not.
Stop doing this.
But Brock is not the kind of guy who has enough agency in his character to be like, no, but the Brock Lesnar character wouldn't do that. The Brock Lesnar character would come out here pissed off and just murder everybody to go get my hands on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And I feel like Brock is being produced wrong. And I feel like that's the real issue here.
I'll tell you why, dude. Because Brock, all he cares about is the money, like Vince would say, right?
All the human monies.
The monies, bro. The and the Danhausen fucking lira, bro. That's a thing.
Yes, the human monies.
The fucking Schneisenhausens.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of them, bro.
Danhausen needs to challenge Brock Lesnar to a fight and milk that for the rest of his career.
I would love that. I mean, I'll go one better. Throw in Lashley too, man. Having a good old three-way dance.
Have him challenge everybody. I mean,
three-way Hausen.
A three-way Hausen.
Yeah.
Love it.
I mean,
love it.
Come on. It books itself, right?
Let's talk about the Women's Rumble and what they did inside of the Women's Rumble.
You mean the Divas Rumble?
Yeah, very much so, right? So Ronda Rousey wins. I don't think that was a big surprise to anybody. I think the biggest surprise was Sasha Banks, right? Because Sasha shows up on SmackDown. Nobody was expecting Sasha to be showing up. And then Sasha shows up and it's like, oh, wait, maybe the winner of the Rumble is going to be challenging Charlotte. And this doesn't have anything to do with Rousey and it doesn't have anything to do with Becky. And then they throw Sasha out like halfway through. Which was just incredibly odd to me. I thought that was a very weird choice. As we're getting down to the final four and I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, we have Charlotte, Shayna Baszler, Bianca Belair, and Ronda Rousey. Like, clearly this thing's over. Like, it really, as soon as Bad Reputation hit, you knew this thing was over, right?
It was done and dusted, Jago. Done. As soon as that fucking song hit, I was like, that's it. That's it. Call it a night.
Everybody go home.
Everybody go home. We're done.
Yep. So what does Rousey do at WrestleMania? Now, I feel like there's a lot of people, including yourself, that feels like Rousey versus Lynch, that's the deal. That's what we're doing, done and over with. And I'm not completely sold on that. Who was the last person that Rousey eliminated? Charlotte.
True. But we saw that, like, I feel like there's still money to be made. Like, we never got the rematch, you know?
Money.
It's all about the money, bro.
Where do they make most of their money from, Jimmy?
Easily Ronda Rousey versus big time Bex, bro. Come on.
No.
You don't think so?
They make most of their money from TV revenue.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant, like, what match makes the biggest money here, but yeah.
And Ronda Rousey was a big part of selling Fox on giving them $1 billion for.
I see where you're going now.
Rousey goes to SmackDown.
Does it even matter though, dude? Like, think about it.
Rousey and Charlotte. I feel like that's the match. You're going to get Rousey and Charlotte, and I feel like you're going to get Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch.
No, man. That's just yuck to me.
I feel like that's what they're going to do.
I'm going to say this now, man, and I'm probably going to get heat for it, but Bianca Belair has been a failure of an experiment by WWE's fucking side over here, man.
How so?
I feel like once she won the championship, she just became stale, dude. Like, that's it. Like, wasn't.
I feel like everybody on the WWE roster is stale. That's not the fault of Bianca Belair. Like, I feel like of all the women that have come up through NXT since the Four Horsewomen, like since that generation, since the Becky, Sasha, Bayley, and Charlotte, Alexa, like that kind of generation, the next generation of NXT talent, I feel like Bianca is like the biggest star that they've created.
Oh, for sure, man. I'm starting to even call her pretty much the Jade Cargill of WWE when you think about it.
I do feel like she should be a heel, though.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. And she's a beast, dude. She's
Yeah,
big.
absolutely.
She's like got strength. I just feel like she needs to work on her mic skills. She's still kind of a little bit green in the ring too, dude. You know what I mean? When you really look at her matches, and I'm starting to really notice certain things that sort of really starting to irk me.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I still think she's got potential. She's still young. She's got a great look. She's got a pretty good gimmick too. I just think she needs to, tighten up a few things in her
Yeah,
repertoire, shall I say?
yeah. No, I don't disagree. Um, but I feel like Rousey Charlotte is a very, very real possibility. I agree. I think it's the wrong decision. If you do Rousey versus Lynch, what does Charlotte do at WrestleMania?
Is there really anything left for Charlotte
I
to
mean,
do?
there's Sasha. Would you rather see,
Why though? Why does she deserve a spot there for
because
getting
she's
eliminated
the
pretty
most
much
over
halfway?
other woman on the roster? I mean,
She Sailor Mooned her ass out of the Rumble pretty quick, dude. In my opinion, for someone like Sasha Banks, it's almost like she's still got a heat from having her little tantrums a few years ago. You know what I mean? But in all seriousness, you're right about Fox and SmackDown in particular. Although, is there a possibility that we could get a three-way once again between Becky, Charlotte? It makes sense for all three of them to be involved in this matchup. Don't add Bianca Belair, because whoever is in that fourth spot, if there is, would be just the fourth wheel, literally. There's no point of that. Just if they do that, it could possibly be a three-way, man. I
I
can
mean,
see it.
I feel like, yeah, it makes sense that they would do that. The problem is then you're cutting off your nose to spite your face, because you have to come up with another women's match to have on the other night, right? I mean, there is 2
Do
nights of
you?
WrestleMania. We have to fill up as much of the card as we possibly can. When you have 2 champions, that's 2 matches that you can get that you don't have to pencil something else in for WrestleMania. I mean,
Oh,
I
that's
feel
easy,
like,
bro. That's
okay.
easy. You got the Bellas, okay, first of all.
Well,
And
you do, but I thought the Bellas were treated like absolute trash last night. Like
they were, but you
they
know
were
what?
afterthoughts to the extreme.
I hate the Bellas, right? But for whatever reason, I like them in this Rumble. I don't
I
know
mean,
why. They showed
I
a bit more aggression, dude. They were healing it up too. Let's be honest.
I felt like the Bellas were just kind of fodder over the I thought maybe Nikki Bella wins this damn thing and challenges Charlotte at
Oh
WrestleMania.
no,
I mean,
fuck no.
name me one woman on that roster that's more over than Nikki Bella, and they
Oh, no,
have
you're
no
right.
star power.
You're right. You're
I mean,
spot
like
on, dude.
they have 0 star power. Brie being thrown around like a sack of trash did not surprise me, especially when she came out there, did the yes chant.
Oh,
I
that's a
mean,
slap to the face to WWE right
absolutely.
there, dude.
I did not expect
I
them
don't
to do
care.
much with Brie. I thought
Right.
Nikki might actually stand a chance of winning this thing, because if you're going to have 2 championship matches at WrestleMania, that means you need at least 4 people, and you only got 3.
Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, fuck. The WWE, man, they're so weird sometimes with their bookings. You know what I mean? The one thing I will give them credit for, at least they stick to a story, even if it's taking a whole year.
Even
They
if it's a
still at
bad
least
story, they stick with it.
they stick with it, dude. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm probably gonna generate heat once again, but I will dare say WWE does long-term storytelling much better than actually AEW does. You got to give them that.
Yeah, I disagree on that, but
I don't know about that, man.
I mean, only if your idea of long-term storytelling is the Usos and the New Day wrestling each other 817 times over the last 5 years.
Right, that's true. But see, maybe we're just being way too critical, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we complain about it if it's not a storyline, or if it's too long of a storyline. And I think, to be fair to WWE compared to AEW, I think, they make more sense when they're on that story arc, whereas AEW failed to explain the middle parts. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like,
yeah, I don't get me
and
wrong.
that's a
I'm not
big
saying
problem.
AEW tells great stories. I'm just
Oh,
saying,
hell no.
like,
But in me saying that, that doesn't mean WWE is a better show. Hell no. AEW is a much better show, period. Doesn't mean they do things perfectly, because they're definitely not perfect.
couple of absences from the Women's Rumble, which is funny because I mean we had people like Alicia Fox in this thing, right?
Oh
But
God, bro.
there were some people missing that I was kind of expecting from both the Women's Rumble and the Men's Rumble. Nobody from NXT on this show.
Yes.
I
Apparently
thought that
Bron
was
Breakker
interesting.
and Tommaso Ciampa were big possibilities to be in the Rumble. For whatever reason, they obviously got scrapped. Even Kurt Angle, there was a strong talk. Kurt, I was waiting for like his theme to hit. We didn't get that. Although Bad Bunny, dude, impresses me every time, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I like him, dude. I just think out of all the celebrities, other than Rodman and Dave Arquette, yes, I said Dave Arquette, he's possibly the best one out of all the celebrities that actually respects and gives a shit about the art of professional wrestling, man.
Well, I thought
And
Johnny
I gotta
Knoxville did a
respect it.
great job too.
Oh God, that was just a PR stunt by
Bro,
WWE. Bro.
I don't care. I popped when the thing with Sami Zayn was one thing, right?
That was cool, right?
When
but-
AJ comes walking up behind Johnny Knoxville, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Come on, hit me," and
Oh,
Knoxville
he
hits him.
stiffed him, bro.
Yeah, and then AJ's like, "Okay, my turn," and hits him with
Yeah.
like 15 moves all in like one little shot
Yeah.
there. And then AJ turns around, looks at the camera, and he says, "Welcome to Jackass." I thought I popped huge. That might have been my pop of the night. I
And
thought
dude,
that was freaking great.
I was shocked that Knoxville actually popped him, dude. He fucking stiffed him, bro. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
AJ
He
said, "Welcome to
legitly-
Jackass, bro." I popped
Dude.
hard. I thought that was so freaking funny.
And then AJ just went on a fucking combo spree, bro. It made me laugh. And then stiffed him at the end. You know what I mean? Bro, no, that was cool. I like that. I just didn't like the way AJ was handled in this Royal Rumble, unfortunately.
I agree with that. Also missing from the Women's Royal Rumble, no Alexa Bliss. I thought this would be the
point.
I
Or
thought this
Asuka.
Yeah, I no Bailey either. I
Right.
thought we would at least get the return of one of those women, especially with Alexa and all the therapy session crap that they're doing on Raw, which is god awful. But I mean, I thought that was all building up to her returning inside of the Rumble.
Right. Well, I'll do one better, actually, Jargo. On the men's side, we didn't even get good old Prince Devitt himself, Finn Balor, either. Where the fuck is he, bro? What's going on there? And he's been coming out lately in interviews pretty much saying he's not happy. Yeah.
What,
I don't know if you know this.
think?
Well, he's come out and said about the politics. He goes, I don't politic. Maybe I'm not politicking right. I guess he ain't. And he's pretty much come out and said he doesn't talk to Vince. Doesn't like talking with Vince. And that might be an issue, clearly.
Well, I thought it, to me, the one that got me with Finn Balor, and he's exactly right. When he made the comment when he went back to NXT, that NXT was more like Broadway.
Absolutely.
And WWE is more like Hollywood. And he prefers Broadway. I thought
sports
that
entertainment and pro wrestling, bro.
I thought that was incredibly telling right there.
Absolutely.
But I've also heard that they are terrified that Prince Devitt is going to leave and show up on AEW television, and they don't want that. They don't that.
I'm so confused with this company, dude. Did they not release 200 or so wrestlers? Right.
Yeah, but there's not 200 or so wrestlers that have the history with a lot of the talent inside of AEW that Prince Devitt has that could be a potential needle mover, because as like the second Prince Devitt walks out on AEW Dynamite, he's been used better than he was inside of the WWE. In the eyes of the fans, they would be wrong, but that's the way that it would be perceived.
Dude, especially if they use his New Japan theme, and I'm pretty sure he owns the rights to that theme than New Japan.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure because he used it pre-New Japan and on the Independence, that real hard sort of techno sort of song. Yep. Dude, I would fucking go crazy. If I heard that theme alone destroys his WWE theme right now, like for me anyway. And I would so lose it, bro. I would love to see that. And knowing AEW, they'll definitely buy the rights to that freaking tune for him to use, man. And I hope he does leave. I mean, fuck WWE right now for him. They're treating him like shit. You know what I mean?
Edge and Beth versus Miz and Maurice is not even worth talking about.
Please, let's just skip.
I plan on it. But there was one other match that I want to talk about before we wrap up this week.
Absolutely.
And that's Becky Lynch and Piper Niven. I refuse to call her Dewdrop. I think that is just
Dewdrop.
the dumbest name ever. But I think last night was a real turning point in Piper Niven's career. I've always been pretty high on Piper Niven. I feel like she has a chance of becoming a Daniel Bryan character.
Ooh.
And I say that in the respect that fans are going to look and see what they're doing to Piper Niven, and they're going to rally behind her because she's really good at what she does. And I think
good.
And I think this was the match of the night. I really believe this was the best match of the night. It just happened that it came after the women's Rumble match and everybody was freaking tired.
Oh, absolutely gassed.
The crowd was flat, but I technically wrestled the story that they told. I think this was the best matchup of the night. And I feel like Piper got over even in the loss against Becky Lynch. And I feel like people are going to rally behind Piper and turn her baby face, and they're going to be forced to push her because she's so different than everybody else on the roster. And that's what people are going to connect with.
Well, that's the positive thing, actually, and why she's actually marketable in many ways, because she's different.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one else like her, actually, and that's a good thing. But in saying that, Jago, I'm actually the total opposite of what you just said.
Really?
I thought, even though on my review show on the PWC, I did give this match a B minus, right? But I felt it was still the weakest match of the card, though.
Really?
Really? I mean, really.
Why? What did you dislike about the match?
It was a Piper Niven match, and I don't think it translates well with these type of fan base. I didn't mind it. I told you, I gave it a B, right? But clearly Becky Lynch had to sort of go down to Piper's level, if you know what I'm saying. And hey, man, she's good. I know her history in the independent scene.
See, now I felt the other way. I felt like Piper raised up to Becky's level, not Becky dropping down to Piper's level.
Well, there was a couple of botches, man. First of all, that splash, she literally splashed big time Bex, dude. I mean, she was winded.
It almost did seem like there was a company memo that went out that was like, we want you guys to be stiff tonight. We want it to look good out there. Because I mean, up and down the card, I felt like people were stiffing each other left and right. Like it felt like a really snug show all the way around.
WB, the biggest contradictions on this planet, dude. And it blows my mind because they fuck with you. You know what I mean? They really fuck with you. I don't know what this company is sometimes. You think, and there was a lot of child-friendly crap too, like during the actual broadcast, if you know what I mean, which is cool, don't get me wrong. But again, it sends a wrong message. Yet I heard a lot of the wrestlers actually dropping F-bombs during their matches, which is funny too. You know what I mean?
One of the things that really irritates the shit out of me when it comes to professional wrestling is when people are like, well, what about the kids? I'm sorry. At what point did we decide that pro wrestling needs to be marketed to children? Because there's been one promoter over the course of all of professional wrestling history that marketed pro wrestling to children, and that's Vince McMahon. And suddenly we feel like that's the standard. Like pro wrestling's always been marketed to children. The fuck it has. Japanese pro wrestling never marketed to children. ECW never marketed to children. WCW never marketed to children. AEW never. TNA never. I mean, Ring of Honor never. Like no wrestling promotion has ever been marketed towards children other than WWE. And yet somehow people just pretend like, well, AEW isn't catering to the children.
Hold on
no shit. It's it's a show about grown ass adults fighting each other. It's not supposed to be marketed to children.
You're right, spot on. Although they're a bit of a facade too, WWE. They say that,
and then
there's a lot of things.
Age is 52.
Right, absolutely, that's a fact. But funny enough, WWE is also the only promotion that can get away with the most fucked up shit. And when I say that, I'm talking about, remember like with the Muhammad Hassan character. I loved it. I was all for it. But damn, maybe it was a bit too early to have someone like Muhammad Hassan. And the guy was getting over. He was great. It's not his fault. The guy was Italian, for Christ's sake. He wasn't even Arab.
Yeah, no
even
victim
though
of his own.
Right, and it's not his fault.
Right.
But he was that fucking good, man. Like, for real.
Agreed.
But it was just very touchy. It's the same kind of scenario now. They do like Gunter, all right, or Gunter, whatever you want to call him. Friggin', I forgot his name already. Walter, right?
I'm very disappointed that Walter wasn't inside of the Royal Rumble match, because the spot that I was most looking forward to in this Rumble, I didn't get. I was waiting for
great.
I was waiting for the first time that Walter chopped Randy Orton, because that's going to be the end of that shit. The first time that happens, that's going to be the end of that shit.
I would love to see a Brock Walter match too, man. I think that would be just Walter. See, WWE, and this has always been an issue. If it's not their creation, and I understand why they changed his name, my problem is, and it's the same with Piper Niven, right? She was Piper Niven on WWE UK the whole time for years, right? She was always known as that, and then she gets onto the main roster, and suddenly she's Dewdrop. What the fuck is Dewdrop even mean? Does it mean shit?
You want me to tell you what it means? I can tell you what it means. After watching that match last night, I know exactly what it means now.
What is it? Bonsai?
Look at when she pins Becky Lynch and the way that she is framed on the camera.
Yeah.
She's double D.
Oh, no, don't.
That's what it is.
Dewdrop?
She's a double D.
Yeah, with her stomach, right?
No, with her tits, Jimmy, with her tits. She's a double D. That's why they call her Dewdrop. Because Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon want to look at them big double D titties. Yeah.
I said on my show, this is Bruce Pritchard.
We got to call her something that's
100%.
D. It has to be a double D name so that everybody looks at her big fat tits. That's what they're going for. That's why they call her fucking Dewdrop. It outrages
just like
me,
BB
dude.
Back in the day during the Attitude Era.
Absolutely.
Big breasts.
Yep.
Remember that?
Absolutely.
Oh, man, if that's the case, man, she reminds me, you know who she's a hybrid of? John Tenta and Yokozuna, bro. Earthquake, Yokozuna. She works, and parts of Vader, too. She works like a big man, legit.
And Kevin Owens. Like, I feel like she's the female Kevin Owens.
Well, she does cannonballs, so yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, just not your typical body type, but just, like
but Kevin Owens ain't that big.
Not anymore. I mean? He's
lost a lot of weight. But he was never like that body type, though, if you get my drift.
But you never saw Kevin Owens getting blown up. You never saw
No, she was getting blown up, bro.
I mean, just like stamina-wise, athletically,
she was breathing heavily.
I mean,
she was she was getting anxiety. She was gassed by the moment, I think, bro. Yeah, no, absolutely. But even during her entrance, she was literally huffing and puffing big time. I felt like she was getting gassed by
Melina. My God,
oh
Melina
my
in
God.
freaking tears.
Oh my God, it's so typical too, bro.
Yeah,
I will never forget Nitro being the biggest cuck in WWE history, bro.
Yep.
True story. Melina and Batista, anyone?
Yep.
Totally. So, yeah, man. I mean, good on her. And yes, she hasn't disappeared. She's been doing her thing for quite a while now in NWA and other independents. And also she was managing fucking Big Cass. But
was she?
Yeah, legit. And but she's not as good as she used to look. I'm impressed she can still do the splits. Good on her. But damn, that ass has put on a few pounds, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You're not wrong. Jimmy T, anything else that you want to talk about on this week's show, man? We're actually over about 10 minutes here.
Damn, we are too. And I could still talk about this shit because there's a lot to actually break down. But nah, man, I think that covers it. But if you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at DJ Mass Effects and at PWC Network. And also like and subscribe right here at the Blow Off on at markmedia.com, channelattitude.com, and Hamin Media Group. And not Jargo, most importantly.
That's
right.
I don't even have to give my Twitter handle anymore. I just put it in super. So you can find me on social media at Not Jargo. Probably some big stuff coming up in the next couple weeks. So we will attempt to talk to you next week for an all-new Blow Off, assuming that Jimmy's not off doing more music videos with Danhausen.
He kept me hostage, bro. I hate him for it. I mean, it is what it is. Look at the China he gave me.
He is very
prick.
Very good. Very evil.
I'm gonna get you, Shitshausen.
That's the end of the show, Hausen. We'll talk to you next week, Hausen, here for an all-new edition of the Blow Offhausen. See ya.
Peace, Hausen.